You want to identify your area of concern. That sounds so basic, right? Like, okay, but what does that mean? That means your child might have a lot. So you got to figure out one to start with. So somebody earlier talked about behavior. What behavior do you actually see? What's the behavior that's existing for your child? What is it they're showing you? It's far different for everybody. And there's no one size fits all for helping kids who have struggles, who have concerns. There's just not a one size fits all for it. You have to know your individual child, which actually leads me into the next part. So after we've figured out what the area of concern is, by the way, if your child, let's say for example, if your child is struggling with, somebody asked about ADHD, I'll use that as a reoccurring example here. Your child, maybe they're struggling with finishing tasks or just attention to tasks. Very common trait in a lot of kids with ADHD, adults too, just individuals with ADHD. Well, what you need to know is what are the areas of concern there. There are some positives with ADHD, like can your child hyperfocus on things? That's absolutely a superpower. I actually, when I went to college, I figured out, wow, I have this skill. I can just lock into something and go for hours. I do have to be cognizant of the fact that I can go for hours and not really come up for air, and the walls can be crumbling down around me, and I'll still be grinding. That's something that a lot of individuals, kids with ADHD have. It's why you'll see a lot of, especially boys, but girls too. They'll be able to game for hours. They hyper focus, especially when you have some kids with ADHD, with autism, very common traits. So I say that because there's some strengths. So know your child's traits. What are the things that they do well? What are the areas that you want them to improve in? And for improvement, let's just focus on one to start with, okay? Let's just focus on one trait. A lot of kids with ADHD may struggle with self-regulation. They get angry at times, they're frustrated, emotional. Anxiety goes hand in hand with ADHD quite often. So the point here is you're not going to fix, I shouldn't say fix. We're not fixing kids. I hate that terminology. I don't know why I said that. We fix cars, we hook them up to a diagnostic. We help kids. So you're not going to be able to help your child through their struggles if you try to do it all, right? If you throw everything at them and try to improve everything, it's just not going to happen. It's behavior science, okay? But if we can pick one area to focus on and we know the actual individual traits of our child, then we can maybe start to figure out as we move into this next part, what are some resources and find some people that we think might help. So this is something that is absolutely personal to me because of some of the challenges my kids have gone through. My wife and I have had to reach out to people for help. We've had to look for help online. Where do you look? Well, I'd say you can look in AI for sure, but you can also go into Facebook groups. You can find a variety of communities online. Maybe there's people in your neighborhood who have an, or in your network of people that you know in your life who have similar challenges. Sometimes my wife and I will throw something out on Facebook. Hey, anybody have an idea about this? And so many people can be really helpful to kind of give you some ideas and starting points on where to go. So step 3 is once you've identified your challenge that you're going to focus on with your child, and you know their individual traits, you really stop to learn what makes them tick, what might help, what they might respond positively to, what they might need more help with to get through. Then you want to find the stuff. And this takes time and it takes effort and it needs to be individualized. Your child has an individual brain. They have a brain that is not like anybody else. I have twins and they don't have, and their brains are nothing alike, right? So what that tells you is every human on the face of the earth has an individual approach. So what we do often to help people, to help kids, is we just do a one size fits all. Oh, well, you've got ADHD? Take a fidget. That'll help you. Maybe, maybe, not with every kid. You know what happens to some kids who are at school? You give them a fidget, it becomes a flying projectile across the room. Or maybe it becomes a noisemaker and it drives everybody nuts. So it's not for everybody. So you have to think in terms of gather as much information as you can about whatever it is that you're focusing on for improvement. Search the internet, search AI tools. If it's medical needs, find the specific physicians that are going to help you. I always use the example, if my child had vision issues, I'm not just going to go to our family doctor. Maybe I'll start there, but I'm going to assume he or she's going to recommend us to somebody who specializes in vision, optometrist, right? So you want to find specialized people in that particular area if you can, and specialized resources. My wife just shared with me on Instagram a couple people who really gave us some tips on some medical things that our kids are going through. It was really helpful, and they've given us some insights. So there are things out there you do have to, one, search, but the next part is you gather in the information, and I want you to know you also have to be careful because it can be like spaghetti at a wall. In other words, you gather so much information and you want to try everything, and not everything is going to be right for your child, which takes me back to steps one and two. You've got to know your kid. You might go to a doctor and the doctor says, "Oh, let's do this." And you'll say, I'm pretty sure that's not going to work for my kid. Maybe you're working with a psychologist or a therapist or somebody who's providing guidance for your child. Somebody had asked earlier about ADHD. Well, they may say, just give Johnny a fidget. And you say, pretty sure that will go flying across the classroom, sir. I don't think that's going to work. So my point is this, you're gathering in step three as much information as you can, and then you're going to sift through it. You're going to find what you think is worthy of trying. Don't try it all. Your kids are going to, they're not going to like it. And you're gonna waste more time before you finally get answers. Once you've done this and you've tried something and you think it works, you want to continue it, obviously. But if you try some things and it doesn't work, back to the drawing board. When we're talking about self-improvement, it can feel like, throwing spaghetti at a wall and hoping something sticks. And I totally get that. Back in my previous job, I worked with staff across the whole school district from pre-K to 12th grade, and it was across a variety of different settings too. So some kids who had more academic needs and specialized settings, some kids with behavioral needs, and then general education kids who were in all the classes. And I would go through and say to the staff that I was working with, you got to figure out how they tick. You got to figure out what is helpful for them, but sometimes it takes time. And that's hard as a parent. We want things to be fixed immediately. Patience is difficult. It is sometimes it just feels like things take forever, but that is development. That is child development. Things don't happen overnight. And so, as I said in the video that's going to drop here on YouTube tomorrow, when actually analyzing a reading program, whether it will help kids who are struggling with reading, what I said was there is no one size fits all. You have to have an ability to figure out some ways to be flexible and gear it towards your individual child. And if you can do that and constantly adapt and evolve and be patient, you're more likely to get them where they need to go.